Hello, my name is Kaley Thorp, and today the digital tool that I'm going to be sharing with you is called Time Toast. So I first wanted to start out by showing you how to get to this digital tool. So if you go to Google, you can just type in Time Toast. And then it is not the first result that pops up, but if you scroll down a little bit, you can find it. It says timetoast.com. So if you click on it and go to the website, it looks like this. It's a really simple looking website. There's not much going on when you first open it. But at the top, there are several different options. So the first one is public timelines. So these are timelines that others have created that you can look through. Or you can click this search where you can search any topic that you want to see a timeline on. Or you can click sign in or sign up. If you do click sign up, they do have a few options. The first one, the basic, is $5.99 a month, pro is $8.99 a month, or public is $0, which is what I am using right now. I think that the public would be a good option to use if you're only going to be using it a little bit. But if you are a teacher or someone who thinks that you might be using this a lot with your classroom or your group, then doing the basic or the pro, depending on how many people you have within your group, might be a good option. So right now I just have it on the public. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So I just entered my username and password, and I'm going to sign in to go to my account to show you some of the features of it. So as far as accessibility goes, this website is really easy to access. You just need a computer or a tablet and internet. And then it is also really easy, like visually to look at. It's really simple. There isn't a lot of different text or pictures going on. The text is large and it's really plain and simple. As far as content, what you would use this for would be, I think social studies teachers would get the most use out of this as far as creating timelines to use in their classroom. But I can also see teachers that teach reading to use this to just mark different events that might be happening in a book that you're reading to sequence them, or even anyone in general who might want to use a timeline just as like a get to know you type thing to make a timeline of your life to share with others or things that you've done throughout your life would be a great way to do that. All right, so I'm going to kind of dive into the different features of this to show you the user friendliness, as it is really simple to use and to create. So when you want to make a timeline, you can just click this add timeline details, and you can just put in the title of your timeline, if you want it to be a draft or a public, and you can just select draft now and then change it to public when you are ready for it to be published. You can click the category. That way, if others are searching your timeline, once you make it public, they can search, and your timeline will pop up depending on the search terms that others use. And then you could also upload a photo to be like the main photo of your timeline. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I created this teacher timeline. So if you click on it, I can click view, edit, delete, or share. And then right now I have it on a draft, and I could change that to public so that others can view it. So I'm just going to click on view right now just to show you what it looks like really quick. So this is what my timeline looks like. I just titled it teacher timeline, so just kind of a timeline of my different milestones throughout my teaching career. And I just added some different things. It started all the way beginning my undergrad at BG all the way till this summer, finishing my master's degree and switching gears to teach fourth grade. Okay, I'm going to go back to my dashboard just to show you how to make the timeline. So if you click on dashboard, it takes you back. And I just want to show you how easy it is to do this. So if you click on edit, I can go in and edit any of these things just by clicking on it. So as you can see, you can keep it as simple as adding a title and then a date, and you don't even have to add a specific month or date. You can just put the year, and you can also add more details by putting a description and adding an image. So right here you can upload an image to go with your timeline. So I did do that on this one, graduated from BGSU. I put that in, I put in a month and a date, and then I was able to upload this image just by clicking on the upload button, and it just will open up your pictures. You select it, and it will upload to your timeline event. And then when you're done making your changes, you can just click update event or cancel to undo your changes, or even delete it if you do not want that event anymore. So as you can see, this tool is really easy to use, and you can make it super simple, or you can have your students or your users who are using it add in a lot more details if you would like to do that. So really it's up to you on how simple or complex that you want to make this tool. As far as management features, like I was saying, you can have it be really simple. You can add more details, add more pictures. And then if you want to do the paid subscription to like add your students to view what they're doing, you can add more users by upgrading your plan. So if you do have that plan where you can have 5 or 35 users on this, you can kind of see their accounts and see what they're working on, which would be great to use in the classroom. And then also you can use this groups tab. So if your students do create a free account, you can create a group so that your students could join a group and work together on this. But again, you do have to have that premium plan to add the groups to be able to do that if you wanted them to work in a group but working on separate devices. So those are just some of the features to show you that you can do with that. If I go back to my timelines, I can show you some of the support materials just to make it a little bit easier to look at. So if I view my timeline, I can, as you can see, it's really spread out at the bottom, and it might be kind of hard to read the text. So a couple different things you can do to make that text easier to read is you can click on the individual event, and it'll pop up that event and make it a little bit larger. And if it has the image on it, it'll open the image. But you also can change the way you're viewing it. So right now this is the default view. You can change it to wide view to make it a little bit bigger, or you can change it to the full screen mode to make it even bigger yet. You would have full screen, and then you just press escape to exit out of that. And then you also can zoom in on your timeline. So say I just wanted to zoom in to like 2021 and 2022 to see the different things going on there. That will zoom in on your events just so you can focus on a few years at a time and really see more details of those events. And then you can use the scroll bar to just zoom back out. So that shows you some of the ways that you can change just the text and the size of it just to make it easier to view, or to just simplify what you're viewing. Instead of viewing everything at one time, you can zoom it in to just view a few things at a time. As far as the value of this tool, I think this will be a really good tool to use in my classroom. You can see on my timeline, my last event, if I zoom in, my last event this August, I'm going to be starting teaching 4th grade at the school that I've been teaching at, where I have spent the last 5 years. You can see on my timeline, I've spent the last 5 years teaching kindergarten. And just talking with my coworkers, they say that one of the big 4th grade social studies standards is working on timelines. So I think this will be a good tool to use within my own personal classroom for my students to really learn how to make timelines and how to look at them. I think this would be a great tool to use to introduce my students to timelines, just because there is this public timelines feature, so we can look at timelines together on different topics just to see. So maybe we'll look at science and technology timelines, and then we could look at computer inventions of the 1990s. And I can just use this to show my students how a timeline looks, and just talk about, the progression of the years and how the events go in that order. And then once my students are ready, I could have them create their own free accounts. And at the beginning, I think I would have them make their own timelines, like a get to know you timeline, maybe a timeline of some important events in their lifetime. And then I think over time, this would be a good tool to use to just kind of sequence what we're learning in the classroom into some real life application. So maybe the events that we're learning about, they can then put on the timeline. And it'll just be a good way to incorporate that technology while they are making their timeline. So like I said at the beginning, I think this would be a really good tool for social studies teachers. And then also, I think any teacher would be able to incorporate in your classroom through like reading, or just using it as a way to get to know your students and some of the important events that went on in their lifetime. So that is just an explanation of how to use Time Toast, and I hope that you were able to learn just how easy this tool is and how it really is accessible for most individuals. And there are some ways to modify it just to make the text a little bit easier to read, and you really can use this tool to make it as difficult, complex as you want to, or if you're working with younger students, you can keep it more simple just by using the titles and the information and not adding in all the extra details. So, thank you for watching my video.